Hey guys, long time no see, and I'm really sorry for that. I was just so busy with doing client work that I didn't have time to upload any new YouTube videos. Anyway, in today's video I'm gonna talk about this filmmaking tool, a camera slider. I'm gonna share my favorite slider moves, and at the same time I'm also gonna give you feedback about what I think is the best budget motorized slider on the market right now. So this is the YC Onion Hot Dog Motorized Slider 3.0. Yes, it's named Hot Dog. You can use it with or without the motors. Basically, if you are in a rush and you just want to get those shots as fast as possible, use your hands to manually slide the camera and you will get great results. But if you have time to set up the shots, plan your shots, then use the motor for best results. The advantage of having motorized slider is that you can really set the in and out points and just let the slider do all the work for you with the exact speed and movement you want. This way you get consistent speed throughout the whole movement with extreme precision. But you do have to plan your shots in advance and it can be a bit time consuming. Overall, it's a really simple product to use even if you have never used a slider before. Setup process is easy and fast. You open these tiny legs for positioning the slider on the floor and you adjust the angle and height of the legs. After that, you attach the motor with 2 screws. Additionally, have in mind that you will need to get a separate tripod head. It is not included with the slider. After that, you connect the belt to the motor and tighten it. And voila, your slider is ready for epic low ground shots. You can use the battery module to set in and out points. However, I personally prefer to do it in the mobile app, which is very easy to use. So, what are some of the filmmaking cinematic moves that you can do with a slider? Well, side to side is probably the most common one. It looks good for any type of product hero shots, and since this is a motorized slider, you can also use it for filming interviews. However, keep in mind that the motors are pretty loud, so I suggest you have at least 2 to 3 meters of distance from the microphone, otherwise it will pick up some noise. And with these 2 nuts, you can also add panning in the side to side shots, so the camera is gonna go sideways and pan at the same time, which makes a really interesting shot. Here is an example of this shot. So I like to have my slider positioned directly above the ground to have foreground elements create depth in the image. Or if the slider is higher on a tripod, I will try to position it in a way that I have something in the foreground creating depth. This way it's actually easier for people to see that the camera is actually moving in the composition. If you check the behind the scenes, ideally I would mount the slider on 2 tripods for extra stability, but I only had 1 tripod with me. Not ideal, but it was still doable. Another great slider move I like to do is the push in and pull out. Things you have to be careful about here are focus. It helps if your camera has good autofocus or if you have another person just doing focus pulling on set. Again, try to have some foreground elements in the shot and watch out that the slider itself is out of the frame. You will probably have to use tighter focal lengths for this one or have the camera tilted a bit up. You have tons of creative possibilities with a slider. For example, you can also do a rise up and down if you position it vertically. But the feature that gives this product extra value is that you can actually position a gimbal on the tripod, connect it via app, and this gives you a whole new level of creative possibilities. But do keep in mind that this will take some time and pre-planning to set up the shots. But since I personally mostly do run and gun type of filmmaking, majority of slider shots are done well, with manual sliding. So when to actually use a slider instead of a gimbal? Well, in situations where you really want controlled, smooth movement. For example, when doing interviews, it looks really good. Great for doing shots with tighter focal lengths, for time lapses, and you even have a separate feature for shooting time lapses in the app. Basically, for every situation where you want to capture perfectly smooth and precise shot. A motorized slider can be an expensive investment, but for the price, YC Onion Hot Dog is actually an amazing, really amazing budget option. Highly suggest you get one if you're planning to buy a new slider, but do keep in mind that of course it's not perfect. There are 2 main things that bother me personally. Number 1 is the motor speed. I wish I could set up the in and out points faster. As you can see, this is the fastest speed of the motor. And the second one is its size. Definitely forget about hiking in the mountains with this one, but it's not too heavy and not too bad for carrying around on a set. You also have a bag included which has a rain cover, so overall not bad. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you also use a slider and for what kind of projects. Let's chat below this video. Thank you for watching, and guess what? I will see you in the next one, hopefully sooner than than later. Sooner than later. Definition of sooner rather than later, without too much delay. Okay, I said it right.